So obviously when it comes to the environment, black trees matter. Hi, my name is Kyle and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about a clip, a quote that Kamala Harris did when she was talking to NASA at a center in Greenbelt, Maryland. I'm going to talk about this. We'll talk about why some people are defending her and what is the reason behind this particular policy and who's to blame. And lastly, the optics in which Kamala Harris displayed, which gives no credence to her credibility as a leader at all, and it's really embarrassing. So if you like what we do here in this channel, please consider liking and subscribing. Let's jump right in here. The first thing I want to talk about is the actual clip, and the clip we posted on our Instagram. And the reason why I'm even doing this video is because of the comment section. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this here. We're going to listen to the clip. This is from Turning Point USA.
Take some strategies.
Can you measure trees? Part of that data that you're referring to, and it's in EJ, it's environmental justice, but you can also track by race. There are averages in terms of the number of trees in the neighborhood where people live.
All right, so let's just back up here. Let's go to this article by Breitbart. That's the clip. And just to be fair, Kamala Harris asked NASA if it could use its satellites to track trees by race in various neighborhoods as part of environmental justice. And believe it or not, that is actually a term. Environmental justice and tree equity are real terms. I couldn't believe it after reading this particular article. During a recent display on climate change, leading many to ridicule the vice president online and giving rise to Black Trees Matter hashtag. So, and you can read this article for itself, and I'm just gonna basically tell you what it was. It's basically, she's equating tree canopy covers and how urban areas are pretty much lack of foliage, trees, and how trees brings good things to the area in terms of just all kinds of aesthetics and just environmental benefits. So that's what their argument is. And there's actually a study about that. And before I get to that, I'm gonna talk about the actual comment section that led me actually do this video. So in this particular guy here, you come down here and look at some of the comment sections here. Here's our good friend, Kira Bowlby. She comments like, what? And then here's the comment that I really didn't understand, then I looked it up. This guy here says, Google housing segregation and urban tree canopy cover. It's a legitimate issue. Interesting read, actually, if you can find the article that was recently published about it. Well, I responded because I want to be fair. I said, I was able to pull up the study, and before I did, my suspicions were already verified in the first sentence. This issue comes down again to redlining, which is a socialist FDR policy which discriminated against blacks. This is yet another example of how Democrats, not Republicans, failed the black community. But regardless of whether or not this is a valid issue, it pales in comparison to the horrible optics of using the term race in trees the way she did. It's just bad, and based on her history, does not add any more voter confidence to her persona. So that's the statement there, and that's what I stand by because, you know, whatever it was, it just looks bad. And you can look at the actual issue itself and argue whether or not it's a valid or legitimate issue. It still goes back to the fact that it was you, Kamala Harris's party, who did this. It was your party that did this. It's called redlining. And in the article, in the first sentence, like I said, says this: redlining was a racially discriminatory housing policy established by the federal government Homeowners Loan Corporation during the 30s, which was FDR. For decades, redlining limited the access to home ownership and wealth creation among racial minorities, contributing to a host of adverse social outcomes, including high unemployment, poverty, and residential vacancy that persists today. Now, whenever you hear about systemic racism, the first thing they're going to bring up, if they're technical or if they have their merit in salt, it's going to be redlining. But you know what? In this article, if you do a search on FDR, it does not come up. They don't mention FDR once in this. They very rarely attribute that in this sort of thing. But if you Google FDR and racism, when it comes to redlining and New Deal, you will find that it's all over the place. We found articles on this, redlining, a legacy of FDR's New Deal. We have one here, white supremacy and segregation under FDR's New Deal. You can go on and look at that. Now, I understand Republicans were involved in backing some of this stuff. It was the president who initiated it, just like you have Woodrow Wilson, who actually came in and set the stage for discrimination because of him removing Black history from all the textbooks, all the social culture into the White House to see a film basically glorified the Klan. And not only that, helping to make rise to the Klan, which has already been pretty much decimated by a Republican president, Ulysses S. Grant. All of these things the Democrats are responsible for. And we're looking to revise our Why the Parties Never Switched video to bring it up to date with a lot of this information here, because we didn't know a lot of this stuff 3 years ago. We're growing, we're learning, but that is what's going on. And to say that the environmental issue is dealing with trees and is causing Black people to suffer because we don't have tree canopy covers over our inner cities is an issue that your party, Kamala, helped to create. And so on that note, I was planning on doing a video about this Detroit 300. I saw a video on Brandon Tatum's page about this, a press conference that was put forth, and about how they're trying to take back the community. The idea was Black men taking control of the community. We're going to go after gangbangers. We're going to go after these people. We're going to treat them as enemies. We're not going to have programs anymore. We're not going to have talking anymore. We're not going to have any more kumbayas anymore. It's going to be us taking you down, taking back our communities, because our kids are the ones who are getting killed. Unfortunately, I saw that video, I looked for it, and it looks like it was from 4 years ago. So hopefully they're doing a lot more now. And if you know about this organization, comment below and let me know about that. I'd be really interested to know. But this kind of awareness is what it's going to take to bring us back. And the politics of what Brandon Tatum talked about isn't doing us any good whatsoever. That's why we need to take action. And that's why taking the narratives away from Democrats is very, very important, because they're going to throw it in our faces. So it's important for us to get educated. So if we're confronted with an issue that we don't know about and someone gives us some information about it, go look it up and see for yourself. Maybe it's legitimate, like I did before with this canopy tree cover thing. Well, it may be legitimate, but the point is, no matter what it is, you're going to blame Republicans and conservatives for that and throw it back in our faces. But at the same time, it was your policies that created it to begin with. So how can we trust you to even fix it? And so I can dig more into this particular issue, but you kind of see what the point is. There's no point in expounding upon more. We're going to do more on this because it's really important for Democrats to understand that it's their socialist policies that have gotten this country where it is. It's like they break something, they come in to fix it, and then they claim to be the savior of something that they actually broke. I'm tired of it, and so the more we can push this kind of narrative out there, the better. The left will come in and say, well, that's not what she meant. That's this legitimate issue. Well, okay, let's say it is a legitimate issue. It doesn't change the fact that she is informing her whole policy to attack Republicans, to attack conservatives, even though it was her party and her policies that created all of it. So we have to see a full picture to have a real solution. Otherwise, this political game is just going to go and go and go. And also, if you like what we do on this channel, we take pop culture and politics and filter to you in a conservative manner, then please check out some more videos that we have for you right here.